Welcome to Slasher Sunday. So, tonight is the first night that I'm going to be covering the Friday the 13th box set. I will be talking about each film individually, week to week, over the next 12 weeks. Now, I have covered this franchise before, so all of my discussion of the film itself will be found in reviews. I will link to my review for this film, which I already did, but I still will talk about the film. I just rewatched my review, and it's actually mostly everything I would want to say about the film. I was actually kind of surprised by that because I made that back in 2017 when my channel was still pretty new, and I was expecting that I was gonna be really off, that I was still going to be uncomfortable, and I've definitely felt that watching some older videos. But this one I felt very calm, very confident, and I quite enjoyed it. So I'm definitely not going to completely redo that, but I do want to talk about some things that I did not mention in there that while watching it this time again I wanted to point out. Mostly what I'm going to be talking about here is what I gained from watching all of the special features, the commentary, all of that. So this is more of an exploration of this brand new set and all of the special features that come with it. Now, this was a Patreon request by Charles Marienthal, and I was told by him that his wife or his girlfriend, his significant other, refers to me as bearded eye candy. That was my sexy pose, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I should have dolled myself up a little bit more if I thought I was going to be, looked at in such a light. But I think I look all right. So this one is for Charles and his wife, or these 12, should I say, because Charles signed up for my Patreon at the final girl level, which is my second highest. It's like my, I only have one tier above that. So he definitely threw out a decent amount of money for me, and he gets to pick a series, and he originally picked Candyman for me to redo, and I was like, I really have nothing more to say about Candyman. Other than, I really love the first one, and I wish it was a standalone, and I will definitely be talking about the new Candyman when it comes out this year. So I don't really have much to say about Candyman, but I do have a lot to say about this one. So let's get into it with Friday the 13th, the original, the 1980 classic that started it all. It does have a reversible cover. This is actually my favorite Friday the 13th poster, is the axe in the pillow, which is kind of stupid, I guess, because the pillow is being stabbed and blood's coming out of it. I'm assuming a body's supposed to be under there, but I'm not seeing a body from what I can tell. I see a shadow. Like, they put a pillow over the head and then no one's holding the axe. But it's still got a downward swinging motion to it, but there's no hands on it. But in the shadow, there are hands on it. So this whole thing, even, I don't know, I still love it for some reason, but it makes no fucking sense at all. No body, swinging motion with no hands, but hands on the shadow. I don't get it, but whatever. So there is a, reversible cover here, which of course is the iconic poster, but I prefer the nonsensical poster. And there is the theatrical, and then there is the uncut. The uncut is like 20 seconds different, so why they have to put them on 2 discs, I don't know. Maybe just to up the disc count for selling the thing, but it's completely unnecessary to me. Why? Who's gonna pick the theatrical version over the unrated version when it's like 20 seconds and it's just like holding on someone's neck slit for like 2 more seconds? That's like that's like what the cuts are. It's not like some big dramatic change. There's no different ending or score. It's like 2 seconds here and there. So what the fuck is the point of this? I don't get it. Anyways, so I also want to point out that in my Friday the 13th review that I did when I was watching it, I was really surprised to see that I edited it. This is the hardest fucking thing to say. But I did, which is really weird because I know I did that in one take, but I still decided Jesus, the edits kill me. I struggle with saying 2 eds in a row. But yeah, I don't know why I did that. So that's not like me. I think at that time I was trying to appeal to a bigger audience because I was just starting out, and I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to edit this down because that's what people do. It's majority of it's one take like usual, but then it's just like there's little cuts here and there that I'm like, what the fuck did I do that for? Which is really annoying because that's not my style at all. But yeah, anyways, okay, so first up, the first thing I watched on here, because I watched them in order, is the fresh cuts. So these are all the special features, which I don't think you can read, so that was pointless. Let's see. So fresh cuts is just kind of interviews with people, and this seems to be the newer thing on here, although I think most of this stuff, like the scan, and I definitely want to point out that the scan of this, like the transfer of this, is beautiful. This is definitely the best it's ever looked, and absolutely worth the upgrade. In case you're wondering, like the Blu-ray box set, whatever, this is a 4K scan. Now, if you want to wait for the actual 4K release, which I'm sure will happen eventually, go ahead, but this is beautiful. I can't imagine it looking any better than this. But yeah, so fresh cuts, it doesn't say it's new. None of this stuff says it's new, so this must all just be old stuff. But yeah, I guess it all is old stuff because Tom Savini is still fucking much younger than he is now. So yeah, none of this is new. So if you've ever seen, I don't know if it's on that disc or if it's on that, steel tin one that they released a while back. But I don't know where these special features are because honestly, I don't really watch special features all that much. That's just never really been a big thing for me. I did watch all the Lord of the Rings and all the Hobbit behind the scenes. It was like they're seriously like 12 hours a piece. Like the commentary, and like they had like 4 commentaries on each film, but I only watched the Peter Jackson ones because that was what I was interested in. And then all the special features, and seriously, like every one of them is like 10 hours. It's an insane amount of fucking special, but I could not get it enough of that stuff. But outside of that, I really don't do commentaries. Like, it wasn't up until just very recently that I listened to the new Halloween commentary with Carpenter and Jamie Lee Curtis. And I just, like, had to force myself to do it. And I enjoyed it. But I don't know. It's just, I'm not so much about, like, the behind the scenes. I love the film. You know, that's what it really comes down to. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm not the filmmaker that I think I am, because I don't really care about the behind the scenes stuff as much. But I'm kind of forcing myself to here. And as far as these special features go, I'm unimpressed. I'm extremely underwhelmed by the special features on this one specifically. Now, how it will be for the rest remains to be seen. But my first indication is my first impressions, should I say, is this is underwhelming as fuck. I was really surprised by how short everything was, and I was really surprised at how little information I gained from watching it. I mean, I have stuff to say, but fuck, like, not like I have 3 pages here. But I have a feeling I'm gonna get through this quick. So let's start. So Fresh Cuts is the first one. I think this one's like 15 minutes long, which is like the longest like documentary thing that's on here. Now there is a full disc to itself, which is the bonus material disc. I'm sure there's some good stuff on here, so I'll have to get to that too on another video. But sticking to this first disc, we get into Fresh Cuts, and I found out that the original title for the film was Long Night at Camp Blood. I think I've heard that before, but I wrote it down here because I just wanted to note it. I mean, obviously, it wouldn't have sold as well. That was the gimmick, right? It was this holiday horror. It was going off of Halloween and whatnot. Long Night at Camp Blood. Imagine if it was like Long Night at Camp Blood 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Friday the 13th is a much better title, so I'm glad they went with that for sure. Annie is being interviewed, the woman who played Annie, and she acts exactly like Annie. It's weird. Like, she wasn't acting at all. She's a total doll, total sweetheart, and it was great to see her. Now, as I said, all this shit was shot like in 2003, I want to say, because that's what it seems like with a lot of it. It's all really fucking old, or like 2000. Oh no, the reunion's in 2008. The commentary was shot in like 2003. The Fresh Cuts was somewhere in that area. So a lot of this stuff is well over a decade old. So not a lot going down here. But I would assume this probably has to do with the lawsuits that are going on right now between Cunningham and Victor and all that shit. So I don't honestly know enough about that stuff to even speak about it, but I really, really wish that they would cut that shit out. But it looks like it was gonna be over, and then now it seems to be going into like overdrive. It's going to phase 2 or 3 or 8 or something. So it's a bummer, but whatever. All right, moving on. I'm pretty sure I knew this, but Tom Savini is the one who shoots the arrow at Brenda, like almost hits her. So now how far away he was, I would assume he's probably just right off camera. But supposedly he's pretty deadly accurate with the bow and arrow. So that was cool. And Ned is still a piece of shit. I can't stand that guy. I will say Ari Lehman, who is the guy who played Jason in the boat sequence, this dude has milked this fucking career for everything it's worth. Like, he literally like put some prosthesis on his face and jumped up out of the water, and that's literally all he's done for this franchise. And it's like a literal 2-second scene. And he just goes around like, I'm the first Jason, I'm the first Jason, I'm the first Jason. I mean, it's fine. I'm not shitting on the guy. I don't want it to seem like that. It's just, imagine being able to like go to all these conventions, be famous because you did a 2-second scene in a movie. I mean, who gets to ride the fame of a 2-second scene? Like Tony Moran, who was the face of Michael Myers. Nick Castle didn't get to show his face, which I still don't understand. But they fly in this guy, Tony Moran, to shoot this. Or I don't know if they flew him in and he's from England or something. My memory's real hazy on that, but it doesn't matter. He shows his face for like a second. And I don't see him at conventions. I mean, he might be. I haven't really heard much about him. But Ari, holy fuck, man. That guy has really, really milked it. And it's like he's at the reunion and he's going over stories and this and that. And I'm like, bro, you're in the movie for 1 second. That's crazy. But he's Jason, and Jason, of course, is the name of this franchise, and he played the first Jason. Barely, but yeah, he's in this a lot. So, at least he has fond memories of it. At least he's excited about it, because there are people who have been involved with this franchise, and from what I can take from what I listen to, it doesn't seem like Kevin Bacon wants to have anything to do with this, which is just a shame. That kind of stuff just irritates the fuck out of me. Like, really, you're just gonna forget your roots like that? That's, I don't know, man. That just seems almost like a slap in the face of like, how excited were you when you got this role, and now you just like shit on it? Please correct me if I'm wrong. And Kevin Bacon speaks well of this movie, but from something in the commentary, it made it sound like he was like forgot he was ever even in this movie. Is I think exactly how they phrased it, which is so lame. It's so lame. But yeah, and Jason coming out of the water was inspired by the ending of Carrie, which I thought was kind of cool. And Victor Miller in his interviews is all tatted up. So I was like looking at him. He's a pretty old guy in those interviews, and I was like, that's what I'm gonna look like. You know, you never think about aging when you get tattooed. Like, what am I gonna look like when I'm an older man and I have all these tattoos? But I always tell my dad, because he's always like, you're gonna be an old man with those tattoos and you're gonna regret that. And I'm like, yeah, but have you seen my generation? We're all gonna look like this. And he's like, oh, well, that's a good point. You're not gonna be alone. He's like, never mind then. Actually, one with logic. So yeah, that's really all I gained from Fresh Cuts. Not a lot. Wait till I get to fucking Jesus, just this one. Man Behind the Legacy, Sean S. Cunningham, an interview with him. That's 9 minutes long. Holy shit, my brother just had a baby. Happy birthday to Olivia. I just got a picture of her coming across my phone. I gotta fucking look at that. I'm not gonna do it right this second, but holy fuck. I am officially an uncle. The first time I've ever been an uncle. I am, man. Well, happy birthday, Olivia. I love you already. I haven't met you yet, but I have no doubt I'm going to spend a lot of amazing time with you. And happy birthday to her, and congratulations to my brother, my heterosexual life mate, Nathan, and his wife, Holly. So, wow. Jesus Christ, that's mind-blowing. I'm an uncle. So, that's awesome to have it like happen live on a video. Man Behind the Legacy, Sean S. Cunningham. She came in just before, so February 6th, right? February 6th is now her birthday. So February 6th. Remember that. Got to remember that. I'm great with birthdays. I'll remember that, no problem. Anyways, this Sean S. Cunningham thing, man, he couldn't, like, he's all about the money. Like, he doesn't shit on the movie, but you can just tell this guy's like in it for the money, that he did it for the money originally. And somebody even says that. I don't know who it is. Probably Victor Miller. It makes sense. But he's just like, he isn't in it for the filmmaking. He's in it for the success. He's in it to make enough money to make another film, so that movie can make enough money so he can make another film. But like to keep escalating his income, his revenue, and the success. Which, yeah, I don't know. I'm not a fan of that. I mean, film is art to me, even if you're making shit like this. And leave it to the producers to be the one that wants it. And don't get me wrong. I mean, if you want to make money, that's fine. But you should make film first and foremost because you want to make a film. But I'm not here to preach. You make it however the fuck you want. It's just my personal opinion on it is like, I would be in it to make a film first and foremost, 100%. Like, what money I would get. Like, if someone was like, hey, Jason, like, what would you rather have? A movie made from your script or whatever that you loved and you didn't get paid for? Or a movie that, you know, was a piece of shit that you absolutely hated and you got like $1 million for it? The movie I love. And that seems naive and that seems stupid and, you know, whatever. I don't care. This is about legacy. This is about my pride, and I know fuck pride. But now when it comes to this, anything else I'd probably sell myself out for. Now, if they were like, hey, I'll give you $1 million if you have one shit film under your belt and then you can make more films, something you'd be proud of, I'll take the $1 million. But if it's just the one film I ever get, pretty simple. So I don't know. That's just kind of the vibe I got from him, and he pretty much outright says it, and it's just like, And now with all this lawsuit stuff, it makes perfect sense, right? Now, as I said, I don't know anything about the lawsuit. It might be all Victor. It might not be. I don't know. So, anyway, but he doesn't have really any interest in revisiting this franchise at all. Like, he's just kind of like, meh. Like, I don't really think about the past. I only think about the future. And the future is money. And he also points out that there was really no other horror franchises before Friday the 13th. That they, like, making a sequel like every fucking year was not a thing. And I was thinking about it. I was like, that's true. That's totally true. I mean, you had the Hammer films. They were making sequels, Dracula sequels, Frankenstein sequels. So you had that, and you had the Universal monsters, like Dracula and Frankenstein, much like the Hammer movies. But I just, the way that, like, the '80s packed on the sequels, that it was just like hit after hit. It was just like going. I just feel like, yeah, this is kind of that film that started that trend, from what I can tell. Although I don't know, Halloween had a sequel in '81. I haven't put a lot of thought into this, but he was, he made a good point. I feel like, yes, that was not really a thing. And now, as I'm saying this, I'm talking about Hammer and Universal and shit like that, and maybe he doesn't have a point. But I think around that time, that wasn't happening, and it hadn't happened in a while. So, yeah, I think it works. And that's it. That's all I got from that. I got that he seems to only be in it for the money, that he's not super interested in revisiting it, and that there was no sequels before. The whole video is like 9 minutes long. So, and there's like a good amount of that. It's just like him kind of walking around in front of his house. I don't give a fuck. So anyway, then there's a reunion in 2008, and Betsy Palmer is wearing a similar sweater. She actually is pretty, like, contrary to what we know of her involvement, is like, I don't want to do this. It's horror. It's shit. It's beneath me. Whatever. She's a pretty damn good sport about it. She seems to have some great, like, memories of it and is pretty fond of it. I think it's probably because it's her most known role to date. I mean, obviously she's dead now, unfortunately, but at that time when this interview was taking place, this is what she was known for. Much like Donald Pleasance with Dr. Loomis and Halloween. It was like, they got called on to these small little independent horror films, and they thought nothing of them. And then it kind of defined their career. It's their most famous role that I'm aware of. Donald Pleasance had some definitely good success, no doubt, as an actor, but he's Dr. Sam Loomis. I mean, that is who he is. It's like, Mark Hamill with Luke Skywalker or something. It's like, it doesn't matter what else you do, that's your defining role. And I feel like, yeah, Betsy Palmer is the same thing, but she seems to wear it with pride, which is great, and I love to listen to her talk about it. I like that she calls the script shit in front of Victor Miller. She's like sitting right next to him. That's pretty funny. Ari Lehman admits that he got the job because he could swim. So he got a 2-second little scene, and he only got it because he could swim and because he worked on a film with them before. And he's writing this to this day. To this day, he still goes to every convention as Jason. And it's like, Jesus, man. 40 fucking years now. This will be the 41st year now. That's just wild. That's just wild. I mean, good for him that he can do it. It's wild to me. And like, look at little Danny Lloyd. Like, that guy barely goes to anything, and he was like the main character, of The Shining. One of the main characters. He's in the whole fucking thing, and he really didn't do much else. But he doesn't really ride that success all that much. Maybe stupidly. Maybe he should follow in Ari's footsteps. I don't know. And then Harry Manfredini, when he's talking about the film, like, you can tell he doesn't give a fuck about the actual film. Like, he'll talk about his score, but when it comes to the film, you can tell he doesn't really. He's just, yeah, he's like, this is what it is, the end. He's so checked out from that kind of stuff. But his score is amazing, like, legit. Like, I think it's one of the best horror scores out there. Yeah, it's a ripoff of Psycho. I don't care. It's good stuff all around, and perfectly utilized. only played when the killer's around and never else. There's no like romance music. There's no stingers for fake out scares. There's none of that bullshit. You get a little bit of it at the end, but it still plays into the only when the killer is around with the Alice in the water thing in the canoe. Jason's about to come, so the music's playing, so that makes perfect sense, right? And Betsy also seems to really like her character. Like, she gets very into the psychology of how she like crafted the character, so you can tell she's just like a real professional, and that she genuinely took this character seriously, which is why the character is so good and rich, and why it stood the test of time. Much like Dr. Loomis, you don't have a professional come on the set without really caring about the character that they're playing, unless they're phoning it in later in their career. But neither one of them did that, and that's why these films work for sure. They purposely prolong the ending so that people are just like give up on that a jump scare is ever coming. I thought that was kind of fun to find out. Betsy Palmer declined the role in Freddy vs. Jason because she said that they didn't give her enough lines and she wasn't just going to pop up for some stupid cameo, which I thought was interesting. But she would come to that convention. That seems odd to me. Like, I'm an actress. Put me in more of it. It's like, I don't know. It made your career. This is like, this is a real focal point in the horror world right now. This would be a great thing for you to do. I think it's a shame she didn't do it. I think it's a total shame she didn't do it. I think it was a mistake on her part. Myself. It's my personal opinion. I think it would be so amazing if she would have made that cameo in that movie. Imagine how much cooler it would have been. Granted, I thought it was her when I saw the fucking movie. I thought the woman looked just like her. So they did a good damn job casting that woman. But still, now that I know it's not, I wish it was. Adrienne, who played Alice, she's a fucking doll, man. She's an absolute sweetheart. She seems to love her memories of this and just loved her excitement and her love for this, and that was great to watch. Adrienne King is wonderful, as is Betsy Palmer. So I really like both of them a whole lot. But it's no, both of them. I was gonna say especially someone, but no, both of them. But yeah, Adrienne King's is wonderful. She's total sweetheart, and she kind of gets into her personal story about the stalker that she had right after the first film and how she was trying to get that under control. That's why she declined being in a bigger part of part 2. And so she kind of like contacted them and was like, look, like, I got to get this shit straight. No one's really listening to me. This is fucking my life up. And she isn't in the film much because of that, and she sets the record straight because she says that she is cited on like Wikipedia that she declined because of financial disagreements and this and that. She's like, this is total nonsense, lies. I wanted to come back, and I would have come back for another film, but I showed up on set not knowing what the script was and basically found out I died, and I did my work that day and I was out of the franchise. But she wanted to be in it, and this stalker robbed us of an Alice Return. Now Friday the 13th Part 2 is arguably like one of the best films in this franchise. I mean, I know Part 4 is my favorite, but Part 2 is damn close. So in a way, I'm glad that she's not in it as much as she is, because I love Jenny and everything. But I don't know, what would it have been like had Alice returned for a full film, was the focal point, was the main character. I don't know, but I would have liked her to survive, and I would have liked a part 5 or 4 or something being a film that was comprised of all the final girls, in a mental ward. There was a script that was floating around that was covering that, where you have like Ginny and Alice and everybody, and Chris and I don't know who else would be in there, but That would be really cool. I'd be all about that. And let's see. And then yeah, I mean that seems to be about all I got from Reunion, which that was definitely the most I got from anything. Then there was something on there called The Lost Tales from Camp Blood Part 1. I'm assuming there's at least one more. I don't know how many we'll see. But it's like a little fan film. It's like 7 minutes long. And it's like a couple getting killed. The kills are okay. That's literally all. Well, Jason doesn't appear to be wearing a mask in it. You don't really see him much, but he doesn't appear to be wearing a mask. I thought that was a really cool element. I'd love a Jason film where he doesn't wear a mask at all throughout the film. I think that'd be amazing. Like, I don't want to see the sack head. I don't want to see the mask. Just his fucking gnarly ass, mongoloid face. Him just running around with a machete. That would be amazing. I'd be all about that. I'd be all about that. But people, they're traditionalists, and I'm just so not. I think this is where I differ so greatly from most of my film friends. Is like when it comes to franchise and their franchise people, they're just so obsessed with, oh no, that's not how it is. No, he has to wear the mask. It's like he didn't wear the fucking hockey mask in the second one. He wasn't even in the fucking first one. Why can't we change it up? He wasn't even in the fifth one. Which I love. I love that switch. But a lot of people just they want the same film. This is why I bring this up all the time with the, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, where Jason yells out, "Die!" I love it. I love it. Why not? Why not have Michael talk? Why not? This is something I'll fucking fight to the death over. Like, it's just so stupid to me that people want everything to remain the same every fucking film. It's just like, why do you think these things become so boring? But anyway, enough harping on that. All right, so getting into the commentary of the film, because that's all the special features. Although I'm 32 minutes in, which I was not expecting. I honestly thought this whole fucking video was going to be 30 minutes at best. I didn't think I was really going to have much to say, but you know me. And I'll say this about the commentary. It's fucking terrible. It's fucking terrible. I was so checked out the entire time. It is like broken up. Not anybody is together. Not one person is together. They're interviewing like 5 or 6 people. They're not talking about the film as it's playing at all. So they're all just kind of giving random interviews over the film. And it's like, I could have got that in the special features. Like, why is this a commentary? This isn't them sitting down and watching the film. This is them just recounting their experience on the film, and they put it over the film. That's not a commentary. So fuck this commentary. This commentary is dreadful. And then they keep, like, announcing their names and their titles most of the time. Like, it'll, Victor Miller will speak, or, like, Adrian King will speak, or Betsy Palmer will speak. And it'll be like, Betsy Palmer, who played Pamela Voorhees, or Victor Miller, who wrote the screenplay. And it's like, fuck, dude, I know who they are by now. Okay, even if I didn't know who they were by now, you don't need to remind me every single time one of them goes off. It doesn't do it every time, so it's weird. It will be like, Adrian King, who played Alice. And then the next time it'll be like Adrian King. Then the next time it'll be like Adrian King. Then the next time it'll be like Adrian King. The girl who played Alice. In case you forgot. Like, it doesn't say in case you forgot, obviously. But it's just like, this is so random. This is so fucking stupid. So that really, really annoyed me. And yeah, I mean, that's the main thing I have to say about this commentary. I was so uninterested because I want to watch a commentary where the people are together and they're watching the film together and they're commenting about the scenes that are on the screen. If you're just going to talk about fucking random things throughout that literally don't pertain to anything you're watching, why am I even watching the movie? It's completely pointless. Why not just have that as an audio track? I don't need to put that over the film. So it's super annoying that I'm like watching the film and they're not talking about any single thing that's happening on the screen. And it's like, this is fucking stupid. So boo, boo, boo to to this commentary. Dreadful. First impression from Sean S. Cunningham here is that he cares about money first. This. I know I already mentioned this, but this is very much what he talks about in this. So, wow. I found out from this that him and Wes Craven made some kind of like mockumentary about like porn or something. So they kind of like made a porn together, which I thought was pretty interesting. Victor Miller actually like doesn't like scary movies at all. Went to watch Halloween and just copied the formula. And he would have much rather preferred to write something like Airplane. So he wanted to write like slapstick comedies. That's interesting. That's interesting since this is so different. Betsy Palmer refers to Gene Siskel as Sizzle. That's pretty funny. That reminds me of the Jerky Boys. What's up there, Sizzle Chest? And then Betsy got this immense amount of shit from a lot of critics, but especially Gene Siskel. And Gene Siskel actually fucking put her address in his review, telling people to like write her and berate her for her performance in this film, that she was in it at all, that she would even do this. That's some grade A bullshit right there. That made me lose all respect for him. Like that's like basically like internet bullying before the internet. It's like this is like mail bullying. Like, hey, here's somebody's address. You know, abuse them, write them a bunch of shitty letters because they decided to make a film. Wow. It ended up supposedly not even being her address, but like to even put that idea into people's minds, like here's her address, write her. And he's being dead serious. That's the thing. I could see if it was a joke. Like, oh, and here's her address. You should tell her what a cunt she is. Like, if you did that with a joke, if you did that as a joke and you put like someone's random fucking address on screen or something, that'd be one thing. But to be dead serious, I don't know if he like intentionally put the wrong address or if he just got the wrong information, which is kind of funny because I ended up actually getting Betsy Palmer's address from her daughter, whose hair I did many years ago. And then I wrote her and sent her some of the photos that her daughter gave to me to sign them, which I didn't even care, to be honest. I'm not a big signature guy. I don't really need posters with people's signatures or anything like that. It's just not my thing. But I did it because I was like, what? This is fucking crazy. When the girl came in, she's like, oh, my mom was in a horror movie, you know, because I mentioned I was into horror. She's like, oh yeah, my mom was in a horror movie. And I was like, oh, what? I thought she was I didn't know what the fuck that she was gonna say, but I sure as hell did not expect it to be Betsy Palmer. She was like, oh, it's Betsy, my mom's name is Betsy Palmer, she was in. And I was like, I know what she was in. Are you fucking serious? Your mom was Miss Voorhees, Pamela Voorhees? Are you serious right now? And she's like, oh, you know her? You seen that? And I'm like, have I seen that? And I was like, look at this shit. Are you fucking serious? Right? And she's like, oh my God. Like, oh wow. And she like gave me all her information and I sent her. And then she sent me back a letter with everything signed and just like laid into me for not sending return postage. She's like, for future reference, you shouldn't fucking... Ah, man, I wish I still had that. Maybe I have it somewhere. It was in like a manila envelope. And I think I fucking lost it, man. I feel terrible about that. But as I said, I don't really give a shit about that kind of stuff. It's funny, all my stories, like the Halloween 4 mask and this story and stuff, I don't have any evidence to back it up, so it sounds like total bullshit. And you can think it's bullshit, and that's fine. I don't really care. But it is funny that I don't have any evidence for any of this stuff. I gotta fucking... I don't know where it would be. I must have lost it, which is so frustrating. But yeah, she totally berated me. Which is kind of funny, right? I mean, she gets mad at Siskel for doing that, but I should have sent return postage. That was stupid. I'd never done it before, and I've never done it since. But now I know if I ever do that you want to send return postage so they don't have to pay anything, and it's real easy for them. But she still did it, which I thought was pretty cool. She didn't just throw it away and be like, fuck that. This guy didn't send me return postage. Maybe because I mentioned her daughter. I don't know. Anyways, moving on. I just wanted to say that because she's dead now, and that's sad. And I lost her note, and it actually applied to what I was talking about. So the story was warranted. And I found out from the commentary that Betsy Palmer is not in the film until the last 15 minutes or whenever she comes in as her face is seen. Like every single thing else in the film that we see of her is, I think they said it was like Tom Savini's assistant. Like there's no Betsy Palmer before that. She does not make the cameo as the hands or the feet or any of that stuff, never. Which I thought was pretty interesting. I mean, I know that's pretty common. You know, I know that like Deborah Hill was Michael Myers in a couple scenes in Halloween, and a bunch of people played him throughout. So that's not super uncommon, but it just, I don't know. Like, even though, like, Deborah Hill's hand is what picks up the knife in the opening and all of that, Nick Castle's still walking around as Michael for a good amount of the film, and then there's like shadows and stuff that are played by other people. But I don't know. Betsy never is seen on screen until that ending, so I thought that was definitely interesting. And they all got along on set. Like, everyone seems to have great fond memories of this, except for obviously Kevin Bacon, who seems to not remember this film was ever made. But there you go. I found out Brenda died. This is not in the commentary. I actually looked this up. They don't mention that anywhere on here, but that would make sense because she died not too long ago. Or not too long after this. I think she might have still been alive when this was filmed. But she died young. She died at 49 of pancreatic cancer. So, total shame. Total shame. She was a babe. And I like her in this movie. So, yeah, it's a fucking bummer, man. And, yeah, they were filming during the winter. And they were, like, out in the water during the winter. Holy hell. Fuck that. Sean S. Cunningham's kid was supposed to be Jason, but the mom was like, no fucking way he's getting in that cold-ass water, and he's not missing school, so get someone else. And now we deal with Ari every fucking convention. They wrote the kills of the movie with Tom Savini. They had none of the kills written. They wrote them with him. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And the amount of times that someone says that this film, gore gags and everything, is like magic tricks, and the audience wants to know how they did that, they must say it 6 times in this fucking commentary. Like somebody, or I think it's the same person that does it every time, but it's like, bro, I get the analogy. Please stop saying it. It was driving me insane. It was probably only like 3 times or something, but every time he said it, I was just like, again? We're doing this again? Holy fuck. And I like that Cunningham says that bringing back Jason is the worst idea ever, but that he now admits that he was wrong. That's cool of him to say, because clearly he was wrong. But I agree with him. It is a stupid idea, but it worked. So just because it's a stupid idea doesn't mean it won't work. Yeah, this commentary was recorded in 2003. And that's it for the commentary. Now, for the last little run here, I already mentioned that the transfer is beautiful. The truck driver that helps Annie into his oil truck and everything, he fucking fondles her ass. He grabs her ass full on when he pushes her up in that truck. So, definitely did not mention that. Why is the water bad? He says there were some fires back and whatever, and then they tried to open again. The water was bad. Did Pamela Voorhees poison the water? How would you poison entire lake's water? The water being bad. Is that just supposed to be like, it's a curse? Like, you shouldn't be opening it? Or did she... Because she clearly started the fires. I would assume she started the fires. Like, you can't open it up. But she poisoned the entire lake so that it couldn't open? Really? With what? I don't know. When he said that this time, I was like, water bad. How'd she do that one? Thoughts? How do you make an entire lake? I mean, as one person, not as like a fucking chemical plant or something, or like, you know, some big company that's like dumping waste into the water or something. Yes, I know of Flint, Michigan. I know of Dark Waters, the freaking Mark Ruffalo movie with Teflon and all that shit. Yes, okay, but Betsy Palmer, the Pamela Voorhees, how the fuck did she get the water bad? Anyway, and yeah, I mean, I don't think I really touched too much upon the romance with Steve and Alice, but I don't know. It's so unexplored. It's almost pointless. Like I don't even understand the point of it in the film. Like it's supposed to create something, but there's nothing to it. It's just kind of like, she's banging an older guy, and he wants her to stay. And I guess the only thing it adds to it is like she was gonna leave, and he talked her into staying. So now she has to deal with this traumatic experience because she listened to this guy. But I don't know. Maybe it also sells that Steve Christy is the one doing this, because as I said in my review, that the whole takeaway here, as far as the whodunit aspect, is that Steve is the one killing. That's who you would assume is probably doing the killing, because you don't know who Pamela Voorhees is, and you don't know who Jason is. You don't know anything about that shit. And Steve is the only one old enough to have been around at that camp in the scene that was a flashback, because he's an older man. He's in his 30s, and she's in like her early 20s, late teens, probably 19 to 21, somewhere in that area, and he's like my age. So yeah, he's the only one that really makes any sense in the film actually being the killer, outside maybe like the cop or Crazy Ralph or something. But I think it's very much thought to be him. So I guess it kind of adds to that, but it's pointless. You've got Ned wearing suspenders with no shirt. That's one hell of a look. And the women in this wear longer shorts than the men. That's definitely an old looking style. Although women's like those high-waisted pants and shorts and everything, the Taylor Swift type outfit, that shit's back hard. Although I feel like I'm not fashion forward, so like I don't know what actually is in trending right now. So anything I say is like probably 5 years old. People are like, Jason, that was cool again, yes, but that was years ago. So I'm never up on it. So by the time that this, that I'm saying this, I'm sure that's probably not the style anymore. Who the fuck knows? Plus, I live in like a time warp. Sedona is a total time warp. Like there's no time here. Like it's just like if there's a trend down in the city, we don't get it here for like years. So in addition to me not really knowing what's cool or what's not, just want to give another shout out to Marcy's nipples and that shirt that she wears. Jesus Christ, man, it's then you've got the dude throwing, after he cuts the snake in half, which is an actual snake getting killed, which is sad, but he takes the machete and he just throws it up onto his shoulder and like lays it on his shoulder, and it's like, wouldn't there be snake blood all over that thing? Like, you wouldn't put that up all over your shoulder like that right after you had done that. I noticed that this time. I was like, what are you doing? And maybe there's some snake karma here. They go in there and they all attack this poor snake and they cut it in half, and this is what they get for fucking with that snake. They got what they deserved. Ned is so annoying. I can't get enough of that. I have that written down multiple times. Annie's throat slit is great, man. It's cool. You can definitely tell the difference with the transfer. The coloration of the neck and everything is even worse, but I still love it. We don't see Ned's death and we don't see a few people's deaths in this, but I can tell you that the majority of people have some neck injury. A lot of slit throats, and of course a decapitation. So a lot of people, they go for the neck. Sick neck. And I like that, Alice is not that virginal character like the elves, but Laurie Strode, from what I can tell, is, she's smoking pot with Annie, so she's not like a total goody two shoe. She's doing drugs, quote unquote. But Alice is clearly banging some dude twice her age, you know, which is her right, and she can do whatever the fuck she wants, and I love that about her, you know, and she's flirting, you know, with someone else there too, so whatever, good for her. But I just, yeah, I like that archetype is not really prevalent here, and honestly, like when it comes to this, like whole these films are misogynistic and all this bullshit, dude, this movie's half and half, and the majority of like the really like brutal deaths in this, they're mostly aimed at men, and the killer is a woman. So anyone who says that this movie is misogynistic is full of shit. It's full of shit. They're not really paying attention to the film. So nonsense, pure nonsense. And Brenda, when she's thrown through the window, is still moving around. Like she's still alive. She's clearly still alive when she's thrown through that window. And I can't even tell what she's dying from. And what's up with the ropes around her? What is that? Was she like tied up? And like as I said, what did she die from exactly? I can't really tell. So anyway, all right. So my review for this film was like 21 minutes long, and then my discussion of just the special features is 51, almost over 2 times as long. I was not expecting this to be anywhere near 50 minutes, but well, Charles and your significant other, I hope you got your money's worth for this review. Join us next week for Friday the 13th Part 2, where I get to discuss the the unicorn footage, the footage that we never thought we'd see in a million years, the deleted gore scenes from Friday the 13th Part 2. And of course I'll be talking about the commentary and all that shit. Let's see really quick. New 4K scan, Inside Crystal Lake Memories, the book, Friday's Legacy Horror Conventions, podcast interview with Amy Steele, and no commentary. Holy shit. What? Well, fuck me. That's gonna be a shorter review. Wow. Well, at least you got a 52-minute one on this one, and I'll talk as much as I can about the rest of that stuff. I can't believe there's no commentary on Part 2. What the fuck? Wow, I thought all these had a commentary. Part 3 does. This one does. This one actually has a few. Which is cool, but I'm going to watch the Joseph Zito one because I want to do the one with the director. I always wanted the one with the director. That's the one I care most about. If it's anybody, I want the director. This one has a new commentary with the director, Part 5, with the actor Deborah Voorhees, which is really cool. And then there's a commentary by the director. But I kind of want... John Shepard and the director. I might have to watch that one. There's 3 on this one. Fuck. But there's a new commentary. Shit. I don't know. I don't want to... I'm not watching all of them. There's no fucking way. I'm watching 3 commentaries. I'm spending 5 hours watching these movies. Each. That's not happening. Or like, it'd be more. Because the special features and everything. I'd be here for like 7 hours fucking watching one film. No way. Not happening. I'll figure out which one I'm going to watch. But I'm bummed that there's no commentary for Part 2. But we'll get there. Anyways, I'm going to text my brother. All right. Adios.